Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out in the New York Times Magazine. Americans want to believe jobs are the solution to poverty. They're not. U.S. unemployment is down and jobs are going unfilled. But for people without much education, the real question is, do those jobs pay enough to live on? Let me tell you something that your politicians will never, ever tell you. Jobs are not coming back to America, ever. Your best manufacturing jobs, you gave them away to China because America is a nation that wants something for nothing. They don't want to pay you 20 an hour when they can pay somebody over in China a few cents an hour, because that's what they're getting away with now. When these politicians run on job creation, all they're doing is selling you a fantasy. We have seen presidents all through the decades run on jobs. Now, when they really went overseas is during the Clinton administration. And if you notice, from that point on, every single presidential, Senate, Congress person that runs for office, they always sell that dream of job creation to the public, but we never see these jobs manifest themselves, ever. We don't see it, and you're not going to see it. Major corporations are not interested in paying American wages. And you know this because what are they using in a big way in America right now? Prison labor. They're not coming out to the public with those jobs. They're going anywhere where they can get that labor done for free or pennies on the dollar. So right now, their cheapest way of getting any type of manufacturing work done is through the prison system and then through China. They don't need the American worker. They don't need you. And that's why they're not offering you anything other than a dream of bringing jobs back. Those jobs aren't coming back. And I thought by now, many of the American citizens that are out here voting would have caught on to that by now. But somehow, every single election cycle, you are whining about jobs, and those jobs haven't returned yet. I think it is very clear it's not going to. Let's get into this article. Came out September 11th, 2018. Vanessa Sullivan and her 3 children fled their last place in June 2015 after a young man was shot and killed around the corner. They found a floor to sleep on in Vanessa's parents' home on North Clinton Avenue in East Trenton, which I know where North Clinton Avenue is in Trenton. I have some relatives that live not far from there. It wasn't a safer neighborhood, but it was a known one. Vanessa took only what she could cram into her station wagon, a 2004 Chrysler Pacifica, letting the bed bugs have the rest. At her childhood home, Vanessa began caring for her ailing father. He had been a functional crack addict for most of her life, working as a landscaper in the warmer months and collecting unemployment when business slowed down. It was something you got used to seeing, Vanessa said about her father's drug habit. My dad was a junkie, but He never left us, Vanessa, 33, has black hair and is usually pulled back in a bun and wireframe glasses. All right, I don't have to know all of that about how she looks. Okay. Vanessa's father died a year after Vanessa moved in. Her family erected a shrine to him in the living room. A faded large photo of a younger man surrounded by silk flowers and slowly sinking balloons. Vanessa's mother, Zeta, is 62 and from Puerto Rico, as was her husband, who uses a walker to get around. Her husband's death left her with little income. Vanessa was often broke herself. Her health failing, Zelda could take only so much of Vanessa's children. Uh, Talia, 17, Samael, 14, Tatiana, 12. When things got too loud or one of her grandchildren gave her lip, she would ask Vanessa to take her children somewhere else. If Vanessa had the money or if a local nonprofit did, she would book a motel room. She liked the Red Roof Inn, which she saw as more civilized than many of the other motels she had stayed in. It looked like a highway motel, 2 stories with doors that opened to the outside. The last time the family checked in, the kids carried their homework up to the room as Vanessa followed with small grocery bags from the food pantry, passing 2 men sipping Modelo's and apologizing for their loud music. Inside their room, Vanessa placed her insulin in the mini fridge as her children chose beds where they would sleep two to a mattress. When she did slide into a small chair, saying, "Y'all don't know how tired mommy is." All right, so she's staying in motels, and like a lot of people are struggling out here. She's one of many. When Vanessa couldn't get a motel, the family spent the night in the Chrysler. The back of a station wagon held the essentials: pillows and blankets, combs, brushes, toothbrushes, extra clothes, jackets, and non perishable food. But there were also wrinkled photos of her kids. One showed Talia at her 8th grade graduation in a cream dress holding flowers. Another showed all 3 children. Okay. All right, let me just go down. So I guess this is her right here. All right, the mother is sitting here. And all right, so it looks like these are the 2 teenagers and her mother in the photo. Um, all right. Now, we're always told the American economy is strong. This is the claim Trump has been making over and over. But reality is there are a lot of jobs out here going unfilled, a lot. And they're blaming it on the drug addiction. But my question is, how hard are they really trying to fill these jobs? Are they looking for a particular candidate? Or what are their criterias? Because there's a lot of people out here looking for work. I don't think they're being on the up and up about what kind of candidate they're looking for. Well, what kind of jobs are available to people without much education? By and large, the answer is jobs that do not pay enough to live on. And that's true. In recent decades, the nation's tremendous economic growth has not led to broad social uplift. Economists call it the productivity pay gap. The fact that over the last 40 years, the economy has expanded and corporate profits have risen, but real wages have remained flat for workers without a college education. Since 1973, American productivity has increased by 77%, while hourly pay has grown only by 12%. If the federal minimum wage tracked productivity, it would be more than $20 an hour. Not today's poverty rate wage at $7.25. That's outrageous. That's outrageous. If it's not a living income, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Maybe for a teenager, a first job or something like that, but for grown people that are trying to raise a family, no. $7.25, no. American workers are being shut out of the profits they are helping to generate. The decline of unions is a big reason. During the 20th century, inequality in America decreased when unionization increased, but economic transformations and political attacks have crippled organized labor, emboldening corporate interests and empowering the ranks and file. This imbalance, this imbalanced economy explains why America's poverty rate has remained consistent over the past decades. Even per capita welfare spending has increased. It's not that safety net program don't help. On the contrary, they lift millions of families above the poverty line each year. But one of the most effective anti poverty solutions is a decent paying job. And those have become scarce for people like Vanessa. So people that really don't have anything beyond a college, a high school education. Today, 41.7 million laborers, nearly a third of American workforce, earn less than $12 an hour. And almost none of their employers offer health insurance, which I think that should not even be allowed. But in America, greed over everything else. That's how this country operates. And they really think that we can't live without this shit. That's the most laughable thing. Okay. The Bureau of Labor Statistics defines a poor, like somebody that's considered the working poor, a person as someone below the poverty line who spent at least half the year either working or looking for employment. In 2016, there were roughly 7.6 million Americans who fell in this category. Most working poor people are over 35, while fewer than 5 in 100 are between the ages of 16 and 19. In other words, the working poor are not primarily teenagers bagging groceries or scooping ice cream in paper hats. They are adults and often parents wiping down hotel showers and toilets, taking food orders, and bussing tables. Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. You know, I think even the last few times I went into restaurants, I saw like the people bussing tables. They were clearly people probably in their late 30s and 40s. They were not younger people that you would expect to see. America prides itself on being the country of economic mobility, a place where your station in life is limited only by your ambition and grit. But changes in the labor market have shrunk the already slim odds of launching yourself from the mailroom to the boardroom. For one, the job market is, well, you know, first of all, how good are the jobs out here? Because They may have a lot of openings, but all of those are not good paying jobs. And that's one thing that they fail to tell you. They don't tell you that. Some of these jobs that are open and been open for a long time are minimum wage jobs. All right. They're not the kind of job that you would find a lot of growth in. Okay, because large companies now farm out many positions to independent contractors, those who buff the floors at Microsoft or wash the sheets at the Sheraton typically are not employed by Microsoft or Sheraton, taunting any hope of advancing within the company. Plus, working harder and longer often isn't even an option for those at the mercy of the unpredictable schedule. Nearly 40% of full time hour workers know their work schedules just a week or less in advance. And if you get it, you're all in a job you can land with a high school diploma. That job might not exist for very long. Half of all new positions are eliminated within the first year. Damn, that's a damn shame. According to the labor sociologist Ann Kellenberg, permanent terminations have become a basic component of employers' restructuring strategies. Okay. Home health care has emerged as, yeah, those positions where people come in and they just take care of the elderly or somebody that's handicapped within their homes. That is a big job around here. I know in New Jersey, you see, like if you look in the classified ads, you see a lot of ads calling for those type of people, but those are not good paying jobs. That's the thing. Demand for home health care has surged as the population has aged. But according to the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2017, median annual income for home health aides in the United States was just $23,130. And that's backbreaking work that you have to do, especially if a person is paralyzed and you have to literally go in that house and do everything for them, wash them, dress them, feed them. You got to do everything for that person. That's not an easy job. One of my aunts over in Philly did that job for many years, and she took care of an elderly man, and he was wealthy. And she had also got a job offer to take care of Teddy Pendergrass, but she didn't want the job because by then, when the job was offered to her, she was in her 50s, and she said she just didn't want to do all that lifting and all that back-breaking work because, the condition he was in. Plus, she already had a patient that she was taking care of for more than a decade at that time, and she didn't want to take on another job. But that's hard work. That is hard work. Um, Vanessa formed a rapport with several of her clients whom she confided that she was homeless. One replied, "Oh, Vanessa, I wish I could do something for you." When Vanessa told her supervisor about her situation, he asked if she wanted time off. No, Vanessa said. She needed the money and had been picking up fill in shifts. The supervisor was prepared for the moment. He'd been there before. He reached into the drawer and gave her a $50 gas card to Shell and a $100 grocery card to ShopRite. Vanessa was grateful for the help. She thought Beata was a generous and sympathetic employer, but her rate hadn't changed in the 3 years that she had worked there. Vanessa earned $9,815.75. That's rough to live on with three teenagers. $12,763.94 in 2016 and $10,446.81 last year. That's very meager for someone that's raising teenagers. You know how you constantly have to do for your teenagers. So, what I will do, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave the link to this article in the description box. It's a good article. It's quite long, but it pretty much spells out how there are so many working poor people in America. And the good paying manufacturing jobs, as I stated before, they're never coming back. They're never coming back. It doesn't matter how many times when it comes time to vote, these folks are out here screaming for jobs. Those jobs aren't coming back. And these politicians are just too afraid to tell you this because they fear not getting reelected. But I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to see in all this time, we haven't seen a manufacturer leave China and say, we're coming back to America. None of them are going to ever do that. It's never going to happen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.